Hello students, I hope all of you are fine. In continuation with the previous video lesson, in today's video lesson I am going to discuss about the nominal GDP and real GDP, then what is GDP deflator, and later on about the GDP and welfare. Okay. So let us start with the nominal and real GDP. As I have discussed earlier that nominal in case of nominal national income and real national income, that in case of nominal we are considering the price of that same year or the current year, and whereas in case of real national income we are considering the price of the base year. Okay, a constant price we need to consider. Similarly here in case of GDP calculation, okay, when we are estimating GDP, okay, for a given year, if we are calculating it on the basis of price of the same year, then it is called as or known as nominal GDP. It is also known as GDP at current price. Okay. Whereas if we estimate this GDP on of a particular year actually on the basis of price of the base year, then it is known as real GDP, or we can also call it as GDP at constant price. Like the real and nominal national income, here also real GDP is affected by the change in physical output only, whereas the nominal GDP is affected by both quantity, means the output and the price change over the period. That is why real GDP truly reflects the growth of the economy, and it also facilitates the international comparisons. Okay, whereas in case of nominal GDP, it is not giving that kind of measure, actually true measure. Hence we can say the real GDP is a better measure compared to nominal GDP. Okay. So next, moving up to the GDP deflator. What is GDP deflator? GDP deflator actually measures the average level of price of all goods and services that make up the GDP. Okay, it is basically used to eliminate the effects of all the price changes, and it helps to determine actually the real change of output in an economy, which is very important. Okay, we can only compare or only we can say economy is growing or not on the basis of output change, physical output change, okay, not on the basis of price change. So that thing we can do, okay, or estimate by the help of this GDP deflator. So how we can calculate it? For that, GDP deflator, or you can say it is also price index, you can say, okay, which is equals to nominal GDP by real GDP into 100. Okay, whereas real GDP is equals to what? Nominal GDP divided by price index, or you can say GDP deflator into 100. And similarly we can say from this same formula that nominal GDP is equals to what? Real GDP into price index, or you can say GDP deflator divided by 100. Means only you need to remember that first formula, that is GDP deflator equals to nominal GDP by real GDP into 100. Okay, from that formula, whatever the variables, value of the variables given to you, data will be given to you, on the basis of that you can calculate the other values, means other variables. If the nominal GDP and price index is given to you, you have to calculate the real GDP, then you can follow the second formula. If you have to calculate the nominal GDP, then definitely real GDP and price index will be given to you, then you have to follow the third formula, or else if the real and nominal GDP given to you, then you can follow the first formula. Okay, so basically you have to remember only one formula. Now moving down to the next part, means let me show you one example. Okay, here as we know, these are the three formulas as I have discussed earlier. Okay, now there is a numerical there is an example actually. If nominal GDP is 15,000 crore and real GDP is 12,000 crore, then you have to find out the percentage change in price over the period. Okay, means that price index you have to calculate. So for that, which formula we can apply? We see the nominal GDP and real GDP is given. So we have to calculate the price index, or you can say GDP deflator. So we can use the first formula. Okay, so putting that formula, GDP deflator or price index equals to nominal GDP divided by real GDP into 100. Now putting the value of this nominal GDP and real GDP on this equation, what we will get GDP deflator equals to 15,000 crores, 15,000 divided by 12,000 into 100, which is equals to 125 crore. Okay, or in percentage, because in the question it is written, you in terms of percentage you have to give the answer. So if you convert into the percentage, then therefore it will become the 25%. Okay, so the percentage change in price over the period will be 25%. That is your answer. Okay, why? Because as you can see, GDP deflator is how much? 125. So from 100 it become 125. So what is the difference now? The 25. So there is a change of 25%. Okay, so let's moving up to the next topic, that is GDP and welfare. Okay, what is welfare? Welfare means the sense of material well-being, okay, among the society members or the people, you can say. So GDP actually often considered as an index of welfare of the people. Why? Because GDP shows you what? The total production of the economy. Okay, gross domestic product. So that can be often actually considered as an index of this welfare. Higher the GDP, okay, greater the welfare we consider. Okay, if GDP increases, that means the welfare is increasing. Okay, however, this kind of generalized statement may not be correct due to some reasons actually. Why this is this generalized statement is not correct all the time? Let me tell you the reasons one by one. First of all, distribution of GDP means if GDP is increasing or higher, it doesn't mean that there is a equality in income distribution. There may exist income inequalities, but still GDP is increasing or higher. Okay, so that may be a limitation. Okay, at that time we cannot say, means with the disequilibriums, inequalities in income distribution, with that we cannot say that there is a welfare among the people. Okay, secondly, we can say change in prices. GDP can increase, means if there is an increase in the GDP, it may be due to the price. Okay, sometime it may not be due to the physical output. So if it is due to the increase in the price level, then it is not showing the original picture. Okay, so then it will not be a reliable index of economic welfare. Why? Because if price increases, that means people, means it becomes costlier actually, the products become, or the goods and services become costlier. So at that time it doesn't show that, or it may happen that all the people are not cannot afford all those things actually. So it doesn't show the or it is not that reliable index of economic welfare. Okay. Then the third point, non-monetary exchange. Many activities in an economy are not evaluated in terms of money. Okay, it is not in terms of money. So that time we cannot consider, means those things we cannot consider under the GDP. Maybe it is good for the people and it is means welfare for the people, but that is not included under the GDP. Then a rate of population growth, that is also not included under the GDP, whether the population is increasing or not, or decreasing or not, means that thing we are not considering here under GDP. Then if we consider the fourth, rather you can say fifth point rather, that is externalities. What is this? The external factor we are considering, means here it refers to the benefits or harms of an activity caused by a farm or maybe an individual for which they are or he is or she is not paid or penalized. This kind of means, let me give you one example. If I have a garden, okay, means I have a hobby of gardening, and I have a piece of land in front of my house, and I used to plant trees and some colorful flower trees and all those things. So it's gives some kind of aesthetic value to my local people actually. So it is giving some beneficial or motivational, or you can say the aesthetic value to the local people, but for that they are not paying me. Okay, it is not comes under the GDP. Okay, similarly it may happen I am not to clean my house, I am putting all my garbages and everything out, just beside my house, and it's actually polluting the road or the environment, and because of that the other neighbors are very get disturbed and all. So it's actually harmful for them. Okay, and to keep my house clean I am doing it. So it is a negative kind of a thing actually, and for that I am not getting any means I don't have to give any penalty and all. So this type of activities can be divided into two parts. One is positive externalities, another one is negative externalities. Okay, so what is positive externalities? When the activities which results in benefits to other are termed as positive externalities, and if the activities, okay, results in results harmful, okay, to others, then it is termed as negative externalities, and for that we are not getting any kind of we are not receiving any kind of payment from the outside, or else we means if it is a harmful activity then we don't need to pay anyone for that. So that part is not comes under this GDP calculation, because it is not means we are not measuring in terms of money, that is why it is not comes under the GDP. Since these external effects do not form part of the market transaction, as I said, these are not considered in GDP. Thus, it can be concluded that GDP may not be taken as a satisfactory measure of economic welfare as the limitations suggest. Means all the limitations or the reasons I told you here. Because of that, GDP is not always considered as a very satisfactory measure. Okay, we cannot overlook the importance of the GDP because of all these limitations, but we can say it is not that satisfactory measure. With GDP we should consider some other parameters when we are comparing or when we are measuring the welfare of the people. Okay. Now last topic for today as well as from this fourth chapter is green GNP. What is this Green GNP. Green GNP measures the national income, or you can say the output adjusted for the depletion of natural resources and degradation of the environment. Okay, it is, as the term suggests, green GNP, it is somehow related, means this gross national product or the calculation of national income and all related to the natural resource, means or environment, you can say. It actually means it will help to attain a sustainable use of natural environment and equitable distribution of benefits of development. Okay. And lastly, we can say a large number signifies greater sustainability, means if green GNP is increasing, means it shows the large number, then we can say there is a greater sustainability, and which implies what, means we can save something or keep something for our future generation for their use actually. So, this is all about the measurement of national income. Go through all these topics, all these video lessons, okay, and do practice all the numericals as I said earlier, and also go through these theory portions, because some theoretical questions also may come from this chapter. So, thank you students and stay safe.